And, that's why the French don't wash.
Great. So, Kelly, how's the job hunt going?
I already got a job. At the UC. I've had it since last semester.
Oh, yeah.
But last semester you worked in RTUC.
And now I work in the UC. About the same job, information desk.
Oh.
You guys are drunk, aren't you?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Dude, seriously, I could get in trouble if you get caught drunk in my apartment.
Why? We're old enough to drink.
But I'm not.
You're not drunk, though.
They won't care. If I'm not old enough to drink, I'm not old enough to have alcohol in here.
You don't have alcohol in here, though. We got drunk before we came here.
Who's gonna come in here and catch us anyway? This isn't Dulcin, Kelly.
In her defense, Claire, she was raised by strict Catholic parents.
What do you talk about my parents, Ryan? You don't know them. You've never met them.
You're right. You're right.
So, Kelly, how's your new job?
By which she means the job you've had since last year.
Same old, same old. Just every now and then someone asks if a meeting room is available or where the bathrooms are.
So you just kind of sit there?
I use my downtime to get my life in order, read plays for performance lab, organizing my budget, you know?
Smart.
It's the fuzz, man! Quick, flush the booze!
Stop it, guys! Seriously. Doors open.
Hey guys,
Tim, how are you?
pretty good. I just got me a job.
Where?
UC front desk. I start next week. Figured I'd celebrate tonight with my friends. How about we all go out to Steak and Shake? It's on me.
I say you'll live to regret that offer.
Why?
He's gonna order 5 shakes, aren't you, Rye?
I'm a growing boy. I need my vitamins.
Great. So we'll take my car. We should all fit. Let me go to the bathroom first. Then we'll get going.
Okay.
So, Kelly, I couldn't help but notice you blushing a little when Tim said he got a job at the UC.
Shut up, Claire.
You've got a crush on Tim.
You're drunk.
I'm sober, and I agree with her.
Yeah, but you also believe elk were sent by aliens to spy on us.
Hey, do you hear anybody talking about seeing any elk before 1951? No, you don't.
Just admit it, bruh. You're totally crushing on him.
By which she means
I
that
know
you're...
what she means. Look, if I admit it, will you jackasses promise not to mention it to anyone?
Scout's heart.
Cross my honor.
I make no promises.
Well, is everybody ready?
Kelly likes you.
Ugh!
What?
Kelly's got a crush on you.
Oh, don't listen to her.
She's got a crush on you, sweetie pie, all the day and night time.
Shut up!
She's drunk, isn't she?
Yep.
She's definitely sitting in the back.
I call shotgun.
I knew you'd pull that one.
Oh, shut up.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Starring Spencer Avery, Emily Bose, Emily Brandt, Jamie Gamonis, Rebecca Jaffe, Bella Karwadowitz, Colin McGonigal, Sarah Obert, Toby Ashibodu, Megan Welfer, Joshua Witt, Ruth Selke, and your host, Frank Macaluso.
Hey, Maggie.
Hey, Norm.
Oh, man, I've been waiting all day for this. I cannot wait to finish the rest of my General Tso's chicken.
I didn't know you liked Chinese food.
Are you kidding? We're talking about, like, the greatest American creation here. I mean, what we know as Chinese food is an American creation. Created by Americans of Chinese descent, sure, but they're still Americans. Of course, not to discount the genuine influence of traditional Chinese cuisine, but
I think I get it, Norm.
Okay. What the heck? It's gone! My leftover General Tso's chicken! My one bright light in this otherwise gloomy day! This crime shall not go unpunished! Maggie! Gather up all of our co-workers and send them here one by one. It's interrogation time.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna find out who stole my General Tso's chicken by shaming the information out of them. I'll confront them and I'll tell them, I know everything. I saw a detective do it on a TV show once.
You sure that'll work?
Ah, of course I'm sure. Otherwise, there'd be no sketch. Go forth, Margaret, and summon our comrades.
Okay.
Do not worry, my unsavored delicacy. You will be avenged, and justice shall be served with a side of shrimp fried rice and egg rolled and 2 packets of sweet and sour sauce.
Hey, Kevin. Maggie said you wanted to see me?
Oh, yes, Kevin. I did want to see you.
Well, what is it?
Oh, Kevin, darling Kevin. I know everything.
You know everything?
Oh, yes, Kevin. Everything.
I'm really sorry, Norm. I really am. It's just you were away and your wife was lonely. I was lonely. And we were both really attracted to each other, not just sexually, emotionally too. It was just the one time, I swear, and it'll never happen again. I mean it.
Kevin! I mean, like, I have to? But you?
I'm really sorry, Norm. Please don't tell Val. It would break her heart.
Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me. You didn't happen to eat my General So's chicken, did you?
No.
Good. You can leave now.
Like I said, I'm really sorry.
It's fine. You can go now. Man.
Hey, Norm, you wanted to see me?
Yes, I did, Val.
Well, what is it?
Val, sweet Val, You see, I know everything.
You know everything?
Every single sordid detail, Val.
Well, I really didn't mean to do it, Norm. It's just you were away and your wife was so lonely.
My God!
And your wife is a very attractive woman with those big brown eyes and that long flowing hair and those enormous...
You can stop now, Val. I've known her for years. I know what she looks like.
Did you know she's into BDSM?
Look, if I wanted to know if you'd eaten my General So's chicken.
Norm, you know I'm a vegan.
So what I'm hearing is you didn't eat my chicken.
No.
Good. You're free to leave now.
Thank you. Oh, and she likes to be called Mistress Sapphira.
You can go now!
Fine. Don't satisfy your wife then.
This has not been a very good day for my ego.
Hey, Norm, you wanted to see me?
Yes, I did, Gary. I have something I want to tell you.
What is it?
Gary, I know everything.
Everything? No, everything?
Yes, Gary, everything.
My son! Come here and give your old man a hug.
Ah, sheep dip.
Listen, it was a rough patch in my life, but I am here now and I am ready to be a dad to you. Oh, I'm so happy you know.
Hello, and welcome to Wastebasket Theater, where we take sketches written and rejected by other comedy troupes and perform them on our show because we've run out of ideas of our own. Tonight, we present this piece that was rejected from a recent virtual show devised by Bit Butter, a neo-futurist sketch comedy troupe on Millikan University's campus. It's a soap opera parody wherein each character is psychic. Enjoy, if you can.
Judy, I have something to...
You're leaving me for another woman.
Yes, I never meant to...
It's Victoria, your secretary with the checkered past. It happened very suddenly, and it's been going on now for 3.5 years.
Yes, I'm sorry, Judy.
Well, before you walk out of that door forever, there's...
You're carrying my child!
Yes! I was hoping...
It's a girl, and you were planning on naming her Sylvia after my mother, who died tragically in a foosball accident.
She's going to grow up to be a lawyer.
Mrs. Lawrence, can I?
You need to leave town because you've been framed for the murder of Dylan Wainwright, the wealthy playboy with possible mob ties. You're planning on fleeing to Paris, but the authorities will track you down there, and it will end tragically with you falling off the top of the Eiffel Tower. You'll leave me everything in your will, including custody of your son Jake, who I'll soon discover was actually fathered by my first husband, Hector.
Damn, you're good.
Well, I must be leaving, Judy.
Victoria's jealous ex-boyfriend is going to poison you on your honeymoon.
I've had a good run. Goodbye, Judy.
Goodbye, Charles.
And that's why it is called the hypotenuse. Tomorrow, class, I'll actually teach you how to use the Pythagorean theorem. See you tomorrow, class.
Hi, Vicky.
Hey, sis. How are you doing?
Good. There's this new burger place that just opened right next to the donut shop. Want to check it out?
Not now. I've got to plan tomorrow's lesson. Do you know how the Pythagorean theorem works?
Yeah. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. The square root of the sum of the lengths of the two legs of a right triangle is equal to the length of its hypotenuse.
Thanks. And what makes a triangle a right triangle?
A 90-degree angle.
Thanks. And which side is the hypotenuse?
The one opposite the right angle.
Huh?
The longest one?
Right. Thanks. Oh, so the right angle's the one that looks like it came from a square? Wow. And the legs are the other two sides, right?
Yeah. Do you not know how to do geometry?
Don't be ridiculous! Of course I know how to do geometry. It's as easy as conjugating verbs in Spanish.
Mm-hmm. And how do you conjugate verbs in Spanish?
I don't know! I don't know! I wasn't trained for this!
Oh, honey, it'll all be okay.
No, it won't. I'm expected to teach this stuff to young, impressionable minds, and I can't.
There's no shame in not knowing something, sis. Even if it is something you're supposed to know for your job.
Why did this happen to me? Well, why did they have to put me here? My teaching degree is in English.
Oh, dear. Well, it's never too late to learn.
Will you teach me?
I can try. I can't teach you too much right now. I have my own classes to plan for. But where do you want to start?
Sines and cosines?
Okay. So the sine of an angle of a right triangle is equal to the ratio of the leg opposite the angle of the hypotenuse.
Hello, I'm here with Rebecca and Emily Bose and Megan Wolfer, and we're going to play a game now called Conducted Story. I almost said Convoluted Story. Well, although this can get convoluted, depending. Anyway, how Conducted Story works is Rebecca, Emily, and Megan are going to be telling a story. I'm going to be conducting them. They're going to be telling it one person at a time, and I get to decide who that one person is at any given moment. And yes, I will go mad with power. So anyway, first, to come up with a story, we need a good title. So first, I need an occupation.
Baker.
Baker. And now a geographical location.
Himalayas.
Himalayas. Mm-hmm. I like it. And so, the story that Rebecca, Megan, and Emily will be regaling you with tonight is The Baker Who Stole the Himalayas. Starting with Rebecca.
Starts out with a man getting off the plane with his baking tools in hand, and he said to himself, "Jeffrey, you're ready for this."
He took one handful of flour, one handful of yeast, and started walking through the airport.
As he looked around, he saw TSA giving him odd glances and women holding their children closer to themselves as he walked past because
Bakers were not welcome here, not in this part of the Himalayas. And he
knew this. He knew it coming into this. He would not be welcome, and it would not be easy. But he had a dream. He had a dream to be a baker.
Be a baker who made national news for doing something completely absurd, like
bringing blueberry pie to the Himalayas, and not just any blueberry pie, the best blueberry pie that the Himalayans
had ever seen. Now, of course, the Himalayans had seen many types of blueberry pie. I mean, they live in the Himalayas. Why wouldn't they see blueberry pie?
But because they're so they'd reject every baker who comes into their midst. They've never seen one that's been baked professionally. So to be perfectly honest, the bar was set relatively low.
So the baker went to his baking station, and this was not an official baking station. He decided to make his home an abandoned building that for some reason existed in the Himalayan mountains.
He started by mixing his dough. He wedged it, he rolled it out thin as he could, and placed it in a pan.
As he placed it in the pan, he glanced out the window and looked out over the mountains and thought, wow.
This is the time to break out into the introduction song to Waitress. So he opened the window
and started by shouting, "Sugar!"
Now, he realized halfway through, or like at least after the first line, that he's never seen Waitress. He doesn't actually know what those words are. He doesn't know how to sing that song.
But then, for some reason, another baker appeared and yelled out, "Butter!"
Our baker, who we'd first seen walking through the airport, looked at this new baker friend. He pointed like he knew him and said,
"I'm just like you." And the baker responds, "You're
nothing like me, because I will take you
down with my knowledge of how to bake the best
blueberry pie that you have ever tasted."
And he said, "My name is Baker number 2. And
you killed my father. Prepare to pie."
And suddenly, Baker number 1, who we had seen walking through the airport, took out his rolling pin. He held it up like he was going to hit Baker number 2.
And he yelled, "You have nothing against Baker number 1 from the airport."
So, Baker number 2 grabs the pin out of Baker
number 1, says, "Wait, try this." Throws a blueberry pie
directly at his crotch. It is fresh.
It is hot. And
it is very unpleasant.
And yet somewhat steamy.
The baker number 2 doesn't really know how to respond to this at first. He has to go home and think.
He waddles home, blueberries dripping from his pant legs with every step.
But then he realizes what he has to do. He has to go back and
steal the mountains directly from underneath baker number 1. There's got to be a way to do it. He just doesn't know what it is yet. Maybe he just needs to dig long enough.
He takes his special grandmother's baking spoon that she
hand-carved from the tree of the highest peak
of the mountain. But then baker number 1
realizes what's going on, and he knows that he has to stop.
Baker number 2. So he decides to go
down to the mountain to meet baker number 2 and say,
"We need to make love, and we need to make sure there's as much hot, feisty blueberry pie as we can possibly
get." Baker number 1 slowly takes baker number 2's hand and leads him up the mountain.
And then they realized that this story was rated G, so they held hands while walking into sunset.
It's pretty lewd, we know, but like, bear with us. So as they hold hands, walk into the sunset together, Baker 2, his intentions still aren't perfectly clear to Baker number 1. For you see, Baker number 2 has not given up.
Baker number 2 has decided that walking into the sunset is too hard
of a task for him because he doesn't know how to
walk. He just limps everywhere. That steamy blueberry pie really messed up his legs.
The poor thing will probably be physically debilitated for the rest of his life, and he needs to get his
legs fixed. So he tells Baker number 1,
"You get my legs fixed right now, or there will be no walking for me.
For the rest of my life, and I will make sure there's no walking for you either, my good
lover." And Baker number one said, "You know what? I love you.
I need you. If it takes scooping these mountains out till it's flat,
Then I will make it as flat as this earth we live on."
And you know what? I'll do it for you, lover." And so they began to
trek back to Baker number one's house.
On the top of the highest peak of the Himalayas, probably.
It was not very fun for Baker number two.
But eventually they made it back, and you have never seen such
love and compassion as they were looking at spoons
that they were going to use to dig into the foundation of the mountain itself and take
that mountain down. And you know what they were going to do with
what they were going to do with that mountain? They were going to throw it directly
onto the Appalachian Mountains, because the Appalachian Mountains
were the shittiest mountains of all, and they wanted to stick it to them.
Appalachia's had it too good for too long. Let's take them out.
With newfound vigor and a fire burning in their hearts, they took their spoons to the height of the mountains.
And then they succeeded. They got all of the Himalayan mountains onto the Appalachian Mountains, and afterwards they celebrated.
They celebrated by, again, holding hands. But this time, Baker number one carried Baker number two, so the hand holding was a little awkward, but it worked out just fine.
They walked into the sunset, clean and happy and in love as two men can be after they have shipped a whole mountain range, including the highest mountain in the world, across the sea, across the ocean, and put it in the United States. And they were happy. The end.
You had never seen such sensual people eat a blueberry pie.
Our immediate apologies to anyone who sees this, who's watching in Appalachia.
I personally apologize for nothing.
I really apologize.
You guys have had it too long. You guys need some help. You guys need a little more hardship in your life.
You know what? You just need a taller mountain. Just get a bigger mountain.
They get fucking taller. Yeah, exactly.
Just get a bigger mountain. Just do it.
Fuck you. Make
No
the mountain
balls.
bigger.
Well, that's our show for this week. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you'll join us again for our next new show in a couple weeks. Until then, be safe and good night.